Hey guys, it's Michael from CultureShockCollectibles.com and welcome to episode number 5 of Culture Shock News. A massive thank you goes out to the man, the myth, the legend, DMO, for hooking us up with that too sweet intro, the NWO inspired intro for the show. We really appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. So guys, it's been a couple of weeks since the last episode of Culture Shock News and a lot of things have gone down in the collectible world. We had, of course, New York Comic Con last weekend. What was supposed to be New York Comic Con, it turned into, of course, Funko's virtual convention. And we saw those Funko exclusives go on sale last weekend and it was massive. So everyone was out hunting in the World Wide Web and hopefully you guys had a bit of luck getting the pops that you wanted. Release-wise, not huge with physical releases over the last couple of weeks. We did see, though, something really cool release, and that was the Venom Marvel Legends Wave Number 2 series released here in Australia. Of course, the set, or the wave, we'll call it, included Venom. It was the movie version, and also included the new Carnage full sculpt figure. This one does differ from, of course, the Wave 1 figure. The set also included the Phage figure, and this was a really cool symbiote to see added to the Marvel Legends series. And of course, Miles Morales and Morbius and Ghost Spider. We have sold out with majority of those figures on CultureShockCollectibles.com, but these 4 figures are still available if you are hunting them. We did talk about these a few months ago on Culture Shock News, and the response to those was pretty massive. So do yourself a favour, check them out. If you're a Marvel Legends collector, jump on the website and secure yours. So without further ado, let's jump into the news. Well, what Culture Shock News would be complete without some McFarlane news? It would seem that McFarlane just keep throwing awesome figures at us and reveals, and this week, of course, is no exception. I'd like to send a massive shout out to our good friends at the Facebook page, The Voice of Reason, for giving us the exclusive first look at a couple of the upcoming DC Multiverse figures. They, of course, are the Red Hood and Nightwing 2-pack. This is going to be a massive release, and of course the Voice of Reason Facebook page provided us with these awesome photos from a collector that sent them into them from China. So these are not factory rejects or prototypes or anything like that. China just got these figures before anyone else. So this awesome 2-pack will include Nightwing in his New 52 outfit from the New 52 comics. The figure comes with his signature buttons 1 and 2, and pretty awesome figure. The head sculpt on this is wicked. The suit with, of course, the red outlines on it as well. So definitely looking forward to seeing that one in person. The 2-pack also features Red Hood, and Red Hood, of course, is decked out in his New 52 outfit and comes with the 2 M1911 pistols that he, of course, is famous for. And as always, each figure will come with the comic book art card, a stand, and of course that window face packaging that McFarlane is doing so well on their figures. At this stage, there is no major info on when we will see pre-orders for these, especially here in Australia. I dare say probably the next couple of weeks, hopefully, we receive some information, and of course, as always, we will have them on CultureShockCollectibles.com. So make sure, guys, that you do check out the Voice of Reason on Facebook. They post up some wicked figure previews and often break the internet with some great news from the McFarlane line and from all the greatest and latest figure lines from around the world. So thanks, guys, for giving us these photos, and make sure everyone jumps on there and gives them a like. Continuing on, of course, with McFarlane, we saw, of course, on the last episode of Culture Shock News, we talked about the Witcher 3 7-inch figures. We saw some sort of promotional photos with, you know, fancy backgrounds and stuff like that, so it didn't give you the best look at the actual figures. This week we saw the official promotional photos from McFarlane be released, and of course they feature The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt figures, and they are now up for pre-order on cultureshockcollectibles.com. There's been a really good response to these figures, so make sure you do pre-order. Anything McFarlane seems to be selling out pretty quickly. We've seen the, of course, the promotional photos over the last few months, but now it's time to take a closer look at the actual figure photos. The figures that will be released in that first wave of the 7-inch scale is, of course, Geralt of Rivia in his K Mohen armor, and of course Eredin Glas. And don't these figures look awesome? Just even looking at Eredin and seeing the sort of the draping cape that hangs over his shoulders, I had to double take that one. I thought it was maybe a cloth cape. It's not, but it's something that McFarlane do really well, and we've seen that in the DC Multiverse line. They're not using thick, really stiff plastic. They are using a very thin plastic that just looks like an actual cape. So both these figures look great. Cannot wait to see these released later this year. Of course, we also saw photos of the 12-inch scale Geralt of Rivia figure. Much like the 7-inch scale figures, you know, well, the 7-inch scale will have a lot more articulation. They'll have 22 points of articulation. The 12-inch figure will have some minor articulation, very similar to the 12-inch Walking Dead McFarlane figure line that we've seen over the years. Usually just arm movement a little bit and stuff like that. Nothing too major. It's more of a statue effect. So these are, of course, coming out later this year into early next year. So jump on cultureshockcollectibles.com to secure yours. We, of course, saw over the last few days McFarlane Con. So a bit of a convention that Todd McFarlane decided to run on his Facebook page and give us some reveals and some updates on, you know, projects that he's working on. And one of those projects, of course, is the Spawn Kickstarter. It is, of course, in full swing, and you can donate or pledge, whatever you want to call it, just by going to the McFarlane Facebook page and following the links there to their Kickstarter link to their website. And he gave a bit of an update, of course, on the figure and how it's coming up. The Kickstarter project for the first Spawn figure, of course, will feature the Spawn action figure and comic from 1995. It will be a 7-inch action figure with the classic costume and mask, folding cape, weapons, a base, and over 20 moving parts. Plus a new original comic book cover by the Spawn creator himself, Todd McFarlane. Todd McFarlane also gave us a little bit of an insight as to what he's thinking of doing for the next Kickstarter project when it comes to the Spawn series. He's thinking it's going to be a medieval Spawn, and of course, as you can see by the photo, it is one badass figure. So it would be cool to see this come to fruition. Personally, I don't really get the whole Kickstarter thing with McFarlane Toys. We know that McFarlane has got the money and the backing to release some wicked action figures. We've seen that, of course, with every range that they've released. I think it may just be more of a, you know, trying to make it a bit rare and exclusive. So would love to see a remake of that 1995 Spawn figure released just as a general. Last but not least, on the McFarlane front for this week's show is, of course, the release of the Mortal Kombat figures in that McFarlane line. They have just gone up for pre-order on cultureshockcollectibles.com and will feature, of course, figures from Mortal Kombat V, and in that wave will be Scorpion in his Shadows variant. Looks pretty awesome. Sub-Zero in that Winter Purple variant. We see that come with obviously that style of skin, the 2 axes, and the skull/spine accessory and stand. It will also feature Katana, and that is the Battle Kahn variant. So that's another cool skin from the game. And also Liu Kang and Shao Kahn, but no promotional photos are available just yet of those last 2 figures. The figures are set for release here in Australia in January 2021, and you can pre-order them now on cultureshockcollectibles.com. On to some Neca news now, and we saw the release of one of the coolest Gremlins that I've seen for a while. It is, of course, the Gremlins 2 new batch Greta 7-inch scale figure, and this one is fantastic. She's the next figure, of course, in that really popular Gremlins line. The figure includes interchangeable hands, a pink feather boa, and a potion container. The figure is currently listed to be released in February 2021, and you can now pre-order that on cultureshockcollectibles.com. Link is in the description below. Really cool figure, really cool character, and I'm so glad that they used the actual sort of real synthetic hair with this one. That is obviously rooted into the head sculpt, and it does have a feather boa that is actually made out of the proper material. So really cool from Neca. Don't always see that. We do see sort of heavy plastics and stuff like that used, so I'm really glad they actually went with some clothy sort of fabrics and materials, so that's really cool. We also saw some promotional photos be released of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Bebop and Rocksteady figures at ToyCon New Jersey. These were debuted and on display. Neca has sort of been throwing around quite a few of the new cartoon figure pictures and stuff like that, and we saw obviously the Triceratons, Krang and Splinter that are on their way, but we saw these on display at the show, and they are of course the Turtles in Time, Pirate, Bebop and Rocksteady from the game, and they look pretty cool in themselves. They're due for release in 2021. They also revealed the Loot Crate exclusives, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cartoon series, bunny costumed, Bebop and Rocksteady, and those are set for release towards the end of next year. You will need to buy the Loot Crate to get those figures. So they both look pretty cool. I think they'll both be great inclusions to anyone's Turtle cartoon series figures. So stay tuned for some more details on that. This week we saw, of course, the reveal of another great Mortal Kombat collectible, and that, of course, is the Mortal Kombat Shao Kahn Deluxe statue. Now, this one's by Iron Studios. They are a great statue company. I believe they're from Brazil or somewhere in South America, and they've been doing some great work with the Marvel in-game statues. They are pretty stunning in themselves. So definitely one to check out, and this one here is definitely no exception. The actual statue itself shows Shao Kahn, and he is depicted sitting on his outworld throne with his scepter in hand. The statue stands at about 10 inches tall, and this wicked statue will set you back around $379. It's set for release here in Australia in June 2021. As always with Iron Studios, we don't get a hell of a lot of stock sent to Australia, so make sure if you are keen on this statue that you do pre-order before release, because it probably will sell out pretty quickly. We do have it up on cultureshockcollectibles.com if you want to check that one out. Well, it's been probably one of the most pre-ordered figure lines on cultureshockcollectibles.com this year. It is, of course, the Masters of the Universe Origins line, and it's absolutely awesome. It's really given a massive nostalgia kick to anyone born in the 80s and who is familiar with that popular cartoon series. The Masters of the Universe collection came up for pre-order, of course, over the past week, and just recently we saw the first promotional images, of course, of Castle Grayskull, and it is pretty much a remake of the 80s version of this, and just like the original, the Castle Grayskull folds open to reveal the full interior playset. It stands over 18 inches tall and over 26 inches wide when it's actually opened. Castle Grayskull will fit the 5.5 inch Masters of the Universe Origin line that has absolutely blown us collectors away recently, and includes, of course, the flag, a cannon, a weapons rack, and more. A special edition Sorceress figure will also be included in this playset. You can pre-order these right now at cultureshockcollectibles.com. The line doesn't just feature Castle Grayskull, it also features all your favourites: He-Man, Skeletor, Battle Cat, Panther, Man-at-Arms, She-Ra, and of course the list continues. I think there's about 21 figures, 24 figures, something like that, up for pre-order right now. They are selling out really quick, so make sure you jump on and check them out. The Origins line will be released next year for the most part. They'll start in February and move through to August when Castle Grayskull is released. So really excited about this line. I can't wait to have them on hand here. And I know all of our customers are very excited. So can't wait to have these released next year. Of course, on the last show, we revealed the final figure images for the upcoming SHF Figure Arts Nappa figure, and he looks absolutely stunning. And at New York Comic Con 2020 virtual booth, we saw Tamashii Nations, reveal a couple of photos that we have seen at other toy fairs over the year, but we did get a look at a couple of upcoming figures by SHF Figure Arts. It is, of course, the Lunch figure, and that one looks awesome with the machine gun, the 2 head sculpts, and I'm sure it'll come with some hand sculpts and stuff like that as well. We also see Frieza's first form with the space pod. That is going to be an awesome addition to anyone's Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z collection, so that'll be a really awesome one as well. There's no actual release details or pricing on this just yet. They were just revealing them. Hopefully over the next month or so we do see these come up for pre-order. Definitely looking forward, of course, to that Frieza first form figure. So some massive news in the 1/6 scale figure line. I don't really have anything Hot Toys related this week, but I do have something by a company called ThreeZero. This is, of course, another figure line from Hong Kong that does 1/6 scale figures. And this week, ThreeZero announced that they will be releasing figures from the Marvel Infinity Saga franchise. So the new figures will, of course, be based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the movies. And they have announced the acquisition of that actual Marvel license, so it'll be interesting to see what else they do in the Marvel series. And of course, we will see those coming over the next year or so. ThreeZero, for those of you who don't know, was founded by Kim Fong Wong, who is one of the original producers of the Hong Kong designer figure style that we see so awesomely done these days. Similar to Hot Toys, ThreeZero make figures in the 1/6 scale range. These figures will be part of their Deluxe series of figures, which currently consists of their excellent Transformers line. So we've seen some of these 1/6 scale Transformer figures. We've got Optimus and I think Bumblebee from the Bumblebee movie. They do look pretty awesome. I've seen some great reviews on the ThreeZero figures. I personally have the Rambo 1/6 scale figure on its way at the moment from Hong Kong, so I can't wait to see that one in person. I'm pretty excited for this announcement, even though I do already have some of the Infinity War Hot Toy figures. You can probably see some behind me here. But I am keen to see what ThreeZero can do with the range. So let's just wait and see. As soon as we get some more info on that and maybe some previews, we'll of course be reporting it here on Culture Shock News. Alright guys, that about wraps it up for this week's show. If you like what you're hearing, if you like what you're seeing, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We would love to have you as part of the Culture Shock family. And be sure to check out cultureshockcollectibles.com for all your action figure and collectible needs. We have, of course, a lot of the figures that we've talked about today up for pre-order, so make sure you do check them out. As always, guys, until next time, we'll see you in the virtual toy aisle.